Today we're talking about REVO Ride Share and the sweet rewards that drivers could score. You've probably heard of rideshare apps before. REVO is next level. REVO drivers can not only make their own schedule, but they make more than they would with the other guys. Caferos, I can proudly say that I'm a part of REVO. REVO stands for revolution, and we're bringing just that to the ride sharing industry. Our drivers could build up a client base that stays with them as long as they use our service. But it gets even better. REVO hooks up their drivers with amazing rewards. Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Want something to drink before we get started?
Do you take Switch?
We absolutely do, but this is complimentary.
Oh, sweet, amazing. And I know it's crazy to say, but REVO actually got me here. It got me to this island in Hawaii. They have boats too. We're talking cash bonuses, discounts on gas, and exclusive perks. The more you drive with REVO, the more rewards you'll unlock. It's like a game, but instead of leveling up, you're stacking up those rewards. So if you're looking to make some extra cash on your own terms, and of course, earn some rewards along the way, then REVO Ride Share is where it's at. Our clients pay less, our drivers make more, and every single time a ride happens, someone gets a reward. Now, what are you waiting for? REVO is the future of ride sharing. Go download the app. You can scan this QR code right here on the screen and/or click the link in the description down below. Drivers make more. You as a rider can earn rewards. It doesn't get much better than REVO. Download the app down below. I'll see you on the road.
A big paycheck. So I started looking at rideshare. How many of you have ever been in an Uber? Anyone in here? That's a big number of people that have been in here. And if you haven't, you will be someday. There's a group of people though. My mother is 78 years old. She will never get in an Uber. When I go visit her,
today we're having Paul Mikel with us. Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Thank you for taking time.
No
to
problem.
talk about REVO Ride Share.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Who are you? Your background? Why are you sitting here in Amsterdam?
First of all, I've never been to Amsterdam, so it's awesome. I'm excited to get to go to Sweden soon, hopefully.
You will for sure.
So my name is Paul Mikel. I was born and raised in Fort Worth, Texas, in the United States. I now live in Florida. I've been involved with Tony Swantak, one of our other community members, in business for about 20-something years. I've done all kinds of different businesses. I started out in direct sales and network marketing. I owned different companies in network marketing. I owned one of the largest gold buying companies in America at one point, where when gold prices spiked, I got involved and I kind of disrupted the industry. There were people that were sending their gold into people through the mail. I thought that was the craziest thing I'd ever seen. So we ended up instituting kind of a network marketing in-home gold party where people would bring their gold, they would sell it to us at an in-home party, and it got me excited because we started buying about $5 million of gold a week, and I kind of realized that disruption was what I liked. You know, I was growing up in school, I wasn't the smartest person, I didn't get good grades, I ended up failing Algebra 1 twice. I wasn't good in school, but when I got out of school and I met a guy at 22 that said, you know, you can go out and as long as you're willing to learn how to deal with people and talk to people and motivate people and build teams of people, you can be successful. And so when I kind of took that, the network marketing type of thing, plus the disruption, things started coming together. And Tony and I started a couple different companies. We were in the accounting firm. We also had a kind of along the same lines of deliver. We were in a company, we owned a company and started a company that was in the delivery space, kind of like Uber Eats and things of that nature, where they deliver food to your home.
DoorDash?
Yeah, DoorDash. Yeah. So we started a company like that. We were doing it the traditional way they did, and I kept wanting to change it. I kept wanting to disrupt it. I didn't think it was fair for the restaurants to pay so much money. And so I ended up, Tony and I sold out of that company, and we did different things. We came back together to disrupt that industry. And so we started a company called Snap, and we've done very, very well with that. We brought different product lines in. We, built a company that was about $10 billion. Tony started that company, brought it to about $8 billion. I helped bring another $2 billion into the company with our team of people in the accounting firm. And then he introduced me to, about 8 months ago, I started riding around with drivers a lot. I travel a lot. I'm in the car with Uber drivers, Lyft drivers in the US. I don't know if they have that in Sweden, but there's different companies that do it, but they all pretty much do it the same. And so I wanted to disrupt that industry because I started talking to drivers about how much money they made compared to how much money the customer got charged. And my biggest story I always tell is I was in Salt Lake City, Utah. I had to get up at 5 in the morning, so I had to book the ride the night before. Got up, that driver had to show up at 5:30 in the morning, pick me up, take me over a little bit of over an hour. They charged me $263. That driver only got 95. So I knew that there was something ripe for disruption. If the driver's putting all the work in, they're putting all the wear and tear on their car, they're getting up early to take care of someone like me, they deserve more of that money. So we put together a program using our networking experience to go, hey, you know what? Let's give the driver everything but $1, and then make it so the customer gets transparent pricing and they get flat rate pricing. Now the customer always will pay I don't know if you want me to go into this.
Yeah, it's good.
But
Yeah.
so the customer will always pay a mileage fee, but it's always going to be lower than what they would pay with the other companies. About 15 or about 20% less they're going to pay than with the other companies. And then we're going to pay the driver everything but $1 on the mileage fee. And then all we do is charge that mileage fee, which is lower, plus a small flat rate pricing. The customer either pays in the US, it might be different around the world, but $5 per ride plus the mileage, $30 a month if they ride a lot, which most people that ride in rideshare, they do it a lot. We have people in the US, we pick them up in the morning and we drop them off at night. And so that happens, and then if they want to do it on a yearly basis, they can save even more money. So we have a saying that says, you know what, our clients will always pay less, our drivers will always make more, and then you put the blockchain with the reward system on it, and it just makes so much sense to disrupt this industry.
Yeah, I was talking to an Uber driver on my way here to the hotel, and he was also saying they take so much of the cookie. They take too much. It should be the other way around. They should take a small piece of the pie.
Right.
But now
that's how most everything in the world does.
Yeah.
And it's finally starting to change. That's why, that's why Bitcoin and crypto and blockchain are starting to disrupt. It just takes a while for people's brains to change because we've been so conditioned to doing this the same way. But people like you and me, we've been wanting to do stuff like this for years. Now blockchain has given it the opportunity to start almost infiltrating all these industries and changing them. Because the only way you change things is by money. Unfortunately, that's how the world works. So if we can make it so the drivers make more money, we signed up over 20,000 drivers before we even had an app.
That's crazy because usually like blockchain project and crypto project are very like ideas on a white paper, but you are in a different situation. Can you tell us more about the project and the stage of the project?
Right, so we're actually already active in the US. We're open in about 7 or 8 different cities. We just opened in West Palm Beach, South Florida, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. We're in that area. We're in New Orleans. We're about to open up about 50 more cities probably within the next 30 days. We're starting to scale it because we figured out a way to do it where the drivers, we can open a city with a small amount of drivers and do it on a reservation basis. So my whole goal too is for drivers to be able to build up their own clientele. So we will have it so the drivers can, if somebody, we don't have the setup yet, but we're in the process of it. If I'm a customer and say you're my driver and I like you, we get along, and I want to get you again, that usually doesn't happen with Uber.
That's what they told me also. You can't have your favorites.
You can have your favorites in there, and if that driver's on, when you get on, you can pick your top 5. If that driver's there, you pick it. So what that does, it makes it so the drivers want to do better. Because if a driver's getting in a car and all they know is they're going to get whatever comes up,
rude.
Who cares? They're going to do a little bit, but they're not going to go overboard. But if they built that relationship, and that's what networking is about, that's what blockchain is about, is building the networks and the community to help each other.
So in the States at the moment, but you also want to go global.
Yeah, listen, after being here this weekend, I think our opportunity to go global in a very short amount of time is big because our app works. It already works. I mean, I pulled it up here. I could pull it up on my screen right now. If there was a driver in the area, I could utilize our app right now. So it's ready to go worldwide and global. We just need the leaders and the people to help us, because every country's different. Every country has different laws, have regulations. So getting into those different countries, that's where we will need help from the community.
So in Sweden, if someone is watching, you're not in Sweden yet, but in the near future probably.
Very near.
If you have good contacts within the taxi or Bolt in Sweden is pretty big, or Uber, then you could be able to use REVO instead.
Absolutely.
And to grow each city with the community.
Yeah, I mean, we came up with the name REVO, stands for revolution, because that's what we want to do. We want to make a revolution, but revolutions don't start with big corporations coming in. they start with people. You know,
One by
one by one, and building that community. So we're excited about going to Sweden. We're excited about going anywhere we can.
So the next couple of months here, when it's going to go live on the blockchain with the nodes and everything?
So yeah, so I was in Salt Lake City last week doing our ceremony. There's a funny video out about it, but
I will link it down below.
yeah, so there's a little video about us doing that. It was fun, but yeah, we're actually, the blockchain has launched. We will start distribution with the nodes and the rewards on May 29th. Now that's what all the smart people have told me. You never know if that's 100% right, but I think that's when we're gonna start. If not then, right around that time. And I'm excited about that because once those rewards start, every drive that happens, somebody gets rewards. You know, and we have it built in as an incentive system because, you know, like right now, if a driver gets a tip, great. You know, that's awesome for them. But what if a driver could not only get a tip, but also get rewarded for getting tipped? You know, on top of
like
whatever.
To get a better rating.
Yes, the better you do, the more rewards you get.
So people can get much, something like a rating.
Yeah, and also for the customer too, we have it built in. We already have a set of things that are going to come out, and we will take more and more from the community. I mean, this is built on the community. So the community is the one that will help us decide, but we've already had some of our community members say, you know what if a customer, a client, if they tipped, if they were to tip, they get more rewards, which is awesome. If they take a ride, they get rewards. If they tip, they get more rewards. What that does is that fosters a community, a sense of helping other people and doing the right thing. So, I mean, who knows if those rewards will ever be worth anything, but what if they are, you know? And every single time you're building up the roles, even if you could only use those rewards just for, if you could use those rewards just for
a ride,
you know, or to give a gift to somebody else, you know?
So you will be able to pay with fiat money, as euro, dollars, and also pay with REVO.
Absolutely.
Rev token.
Yeah, as we go along in the beginning, and right in the brand new beginning, it probably won't be with the token, but very quickly those will be added in to be able to do that.
That's cool.
And you get paid real money too. It's not just in tokens.
No,
like every time you do a ride, like I said, the driver keeps everything but $1 in the US, whatever it would be in euros. That, I mean, I think it's pretty close, right? But you know, you get real money, and you also get real money not for just driving. If you're a customer, if I refer you, every time you do a ride, and I pay $5, whatever that is in euros, I would make 20% of that $5 if I referred you. Every time you did a ride, I'd get $1. If you're a driver, every time you do a ride, and the average driver does about 15 to 20 rides a day, I would get 20 cents every time you did a ride just for referring you to the company. And then on top of that, rewards and everything else that's built in.
So instead of having like a big marketing machine, you will do it through the community.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you look at Uber, you look at Lyft, you look at DoorDash, any of these companies that are gig economy, they spend a ton of money to bring in these customers, and then they rip the drivers off. They charge the customers a lot of money. Our goal is not to have to go spend $100 million on a Super Bowl commercial, or like with you, with soccer, having to go spend big ad money on that. We'd rather give it to the people that build the community.
Give it back instead.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now, how do you invest or participate in this area? Is it only through nodes, to buy a node?
No, you can buy a node. You can never buy a node at all. Like, you could download our app, start referring people to the company. Once we are live in Sweden, you start getting those rewards. But even if you're in Sweden now, you download the app, once the rewards start, you could be referring people all over the world. Like, you could be referring people in the US, you could be in Curacao, you could be anywhere you want around the world, you could be referring people. And then guess what? When we do open, you start getting those rewards every time a ride is done, if we're open there. Yeah. But when we open and we're going and the rewards are going, it's going to be huge. You guys have two sides. One, a node side to invest with if you have money, and if you don't have money, you can build a community. Right. So that's really cool. And the first year through nodes, it's good to be part from the beginning. Oh, listen, I didn't understand anything about it. I didn't understand the nodes at all. You can take it like a quick one. But now I understand it, and I'm excited about it. So with our token, you know, what I've learned, like with Bitcoin, there's only 21 million Bitcoin that will ever be mined. Yep. Same thing with us. There's 50 billion coins that will ever be distributed through this network. And every year that amount goes in half. So in the first year, 25 billion of those tokens will go out. Half of the tokens go out. So owning a node in that first year is going to be the biggest and best time, because that's going to be the fewest amount of nodes ever owned. They're going to be the least price they've ever been. You know, having that software that can create those nodes or create those rewards is going to be huge, because I mean, I don't know how many nodes we've actually sold right now, but let's say I think we're close to around $2 million in nodes right now sold. Years from now, that'll be 5 million, 20 million, 30 million. That number of nodes will be huge. The number of rewards will be less. You know, so every year, the first year, 25 billion go out, second year, 12.5 billion, third year, 6 point, and this is where my failing math comes in, but it goes down, you know, and so being involved in the beginning, and we all know that, you know, being involved in any business in the beginning is the hardest part, but it's also most lucrative if you stick it out.
Yeah, and that's why we're sitting here today to share the information, and then you can decide what you want to do with this information, because I think more people should be at least know everything about REVO, and then they can make their up their own mind, because if you don't know, you don't know.
Right.
So, want to add anything before we wrap up?
I'm excited. I'm ready to go to Sweden now. I've never been to Europe. I thought I'd never wanted to go to Europe, but now after being here, I was coming down in the elevator this morning, I'm like, man, I can't wait to travel more and it's exciting. Like being yesterday with us, there's such a need for disruption. There's such an excitement for disruption. I mean, you came from Sweden to be with us here. There's over probably 300 people in the room yesterday. And when something like that starts, I've seen companies when they catch momentum, and we're at that point right now where it's about to go global in a big way. So I would encourage you to get started any way you want.
One thing I have noticed is the people.
Yes.
The people are great. Like you meet billionaires, you meet millionaires, so humble.
Right.
They take the time to talk to you, and even if they talk to 500 people or even more, they're still talking to you like you're a normal guy. And
it's funny. One of the guys that helped start this whole thing, he's worth billions. And first time I ever met him, we were going to go to dinner with him at the Ritz in Puerto Rico. My partner Tony lives down in Puerto Rico, and we were going to go to dinner. And you're hanging out with people that are very wealthy. You think, I got to dress up. Yeah. I got to wear a suit. Well, I'd never met this person before, and we were on our way to dinner, and I said, well, what are we going to wear? And Tony said, well, he's going to be in sweats and a hoodie. But that's how it is. You're around people that have made a lot of money, but it's not about the money anymore. It's about the community. I've made a lot of money in my life. I've lost a lot of money in my life. At this point, I want to build a legacy, because I want my child, I raised my son by myself for 10 years, 15 years, something like that. And I want him to have something when I pass on, which it always happens. None of us going to live forever, but I want my son to see an example of going, hey, you know what? Doing the right thing is what matters, whether there's money involved or not. But usually the money comes along with it.
That's cool. Thank you for taking time,
No problem.
Paul. See you in Sweden, hopefully very soon.
That's right. Here we go.
Thank you.
Perfect. Tony walking by while I'm telling you. Didn't see that.
No, I didn't.
Tony's dancing behind me. Yeah, he used to do that. We used to do that to each other all the time.